Man, I just keep on re-recording this video and I don't like it. So I'm just going to do a short version of this video. Okay. I'm going to answer this question, whether or not money makes a man. Is money required to be successful as a man? I got this comment. I'm going to read you a little portion of this. And he says, I guess a question, or more really a curiosity, is it really money itself that establishes the success of a man? I'm aware that money is based on numbers and that it is one of the greatest honest signals for success, even confidence, because numbers cannot be faked, or at the very least, or they're much harder to fake, right? And so, okay, so the question is essentially, is money that which defines your success? And my answer is definitively no. All right, your bank account, the amount of money that you have, even if you're self-made, does not define your success as a man. Right. And it also does not define your attractiveness level to a woman, which is one of the things that he asks in this. And the reason why is because even if you use it as a score, and even if it's true that if you acquire money, if you acquire wealth on your own, that it probably indicates that you have to have some other attributes to do that, it's still not an absolute indicator, right? It's sort of the equivalent to having a college degree. If you have a college degree, does that mean you're educated? No, but it does mean that you had to at least sit through the classes, that you had to at least show some amount of drive or ambition in order to pass the classes, and some kind of dedication and follow through, right? And so it does kind of show those things, but just a college degree is not going to really tell you much. Just like a person who has a large bank account, it's not going to tell you very much. I mean, they might have been well connected, might have had the right opportunities, they might have gotten lucky, right? There's a lot of different things, or they might have chosen a path that is easier money than some path that some other person chose that's harder money, right? So, for example, you could take, let's say, take a man like David Goggins, right? All right. So David Goggins, he has a lot of money now. He's obviously a multimillionaire right now because his books were successful. And but if you looked at him before that, right? I remember reading Jesse Itzler's book, Living with a Seal. They didn't even say his name. They didn't even say David Goggins' name in that book. He lived with Jesse for over a month and trained him, and that whole book was about that. But he just said a Navy SEAL, a Marine, right? A Navy SEAL or former Navy SEAL, all right, in the book. And so David Goggins at that point, would you say that he was a successful man, right? I would say that he was, right? But he didn't have money at that point. However, he did do a lot of things, and then he eventually wrote this book, and he eventually made a ton of money from that book. And so those things necessarily are not related to each other, right? In a way, they're related, because you would say that, a person who had done all these things eventually puts themselves in a position to be able to make money in an easier way, which is the case with David Goggins. But money does not make a man successful, right? And you might think that this is weird, because I talk about all the time how you need to make money as a man and how it is important to become financially free. In fact, I coach guys. I have a coaching program called The Well That Never Runs Dry, where I teach guys how to become financially free, right? However, even though it's in my financial interest to tell you, oh yeah, you have to make more money and you have to become financially free, and that's what makes you a man, that's not true. And I don't believe that that's true, and I'm never going to teach you that, because it is way more important your character. It's way more important the person you become, right? If we go back to Stoic philosophy, the Stoics talk about all the time how anything that can be taken from you, or anything that can be given to you or taken from you, is not really yours, right? And that includes money. That includes your physique to a degree, although you should be developing your physique. You should be trying to get money. But what we're more focused on is the internal, the character, who you are, right? Now, you might say, well, that's not going to get me laid. And that might be true, but it's also not true, right? In the sense that if you are a man who understands masculinity, who is a masculine man, right, and doesn't have a lot of money in your bank account, but you're a guy who is dominant, who's assertive, who is strong, okay, who has a purpose and mission and goes after it, who has ambition, right, who has confidence, who acts with confidence, women are going to be attracted to you. Okay, they're going to be attracted to those attributes, even if there's not a bank account dollar attached to that. Now, I know this for a fact, because when I used to go out and I used to go and pick up girls and do that kind of thing, I never talked about money and I didn't wear expensive clothes or watches or anything like that. Okay. And I was able to attract women based on these other attributes rather than just the money attribute. Even though I did have a lot of money at the time, no one knew it. No one knew who I was. They didn't know what money that I had. Okay. And so I think too many people put too much emphasis on the money side. And I have said some things in the past talking about, oh, if you're not making so much money, you're a loser. And don't take that out of context. What I mean by that is if you think you're a big shot because you're making six figures, you're not. Okay, there's much higher levels to this. So don't just think that, oh, now you're a big shot because you're not making good money. You ain't making shit, is what I was trying to tell you about that, is because there's much higher levels, right? But again, you can't evaluate yourself based on the money you're making, because that's not the key. That it might be a convenient way to keep score internally for yourself to see how you're progressing, but it is not a score that you should publicly use in order to evaluate people, because it doesn't tell you enough information. It doesn't tell you very much information at all. In fact, even if they're self-made, okay? Like I said, it's like a college degree. It tells you that they did the thing, but doesn't tell you what they learned in the process and who they've become in the process or how they did the thing, which is really, really important, okay? Now, with that said, is money something that is valuable to you, that can help you in your life immensely? Yes, of course, because one of the most important things that I think you can do is you can learn to unmortgage your life, right? When you're born, you have a mortgage on your life. In a sense, you have to pay for food and shelter, and you've got various things that you have to pay. And so you have to go to work to make money. You can't just live free in society today, all right? Or it's very hard to do unless you're gonna be a homeless person, right? So that means that there's a certain upkeep cost. Every month you have to pay this amount of money. So that means you have to work in order to make that amount of money, right? And so if you become financially free and then you can buy back your time and unmortgage your life, then you don't have to do that anymore. Now you can use your time how you want, and that is an extremely valuable thing, and that will allow you to develop other skills and other things in your life, right? So don't get too hung up on this. Don't get too hung up on the money aspect of things. I do think it is important to build wealth and to be thinking about these things as a man and your future. That is really important, but it is never going to define you, and it is never going to make you a better man just by having more money, right? It's more of a strategy that you're doing for your life rather than thinking that it now is something that makes you valuable. Because the thing about that is, like, anything that can be taken from you, you have to be very careful with, because if you put all your value and your worth into your net worth, then what happens if you lose that money? Now is all your value gone? Now is all the time that you've spent in your life gone? Let's say that you spend the majority of your life trying to make money, and then you make one bad financial decision after 30 or 40 years and you lose it all, okay? Now, have you wasted your whole life? Yes. But if instead you take the approach to say, look, I'm going to make money and I'm going to try and make money and improve myself, but I'm going to improve myself in other areas. And my goal, even though it may be to make money, the reason why I'm setting that goal is because of who I'm going to become in that process. And I'm going to specifically set these financial goals that force me to get out of my comfort zone, that force me to grow as a human being. Now, if you got to that point and you lost everything, not only would you not have lost everything, because you would still be the person that you've built yourself to be, but you would probably also have the ability to make that money back because you have developed your skills and yourself along the way. So I hope that helps you. And if you do want some help becoming financially free, I do have a 6-month coaching program where we jump on weekly calls and we talk about how to build a business, how to invest in real estate, and set up a real plan in order to become financially free in the future. Just DM me the word YouTube on Instagram, and someone from my team will get back to you, and we'll see if you're a good fit for that. So so don't stress it too much, guys. Money does not make the man, all right? But a man should know how to make money. I would say that. I'll see you tomorrow.